On the news, young protesters defy police warning, stage protests in Lagos, Abuja, Rivers and other states against emergency rule and repression in the country. Obi and Abure-led Labour Party factions convened separate NEC meetings after Supreme Court judgment. He meets stakeholders as Section 2 of Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway infrastructure commences. Many thanks for joining us on News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I'm Simisola Adigun. Young demonstrators under the aegis of the Take It Back movement and other civil society organizations have on Monday defied police warning and staged protests in Abuja, Lagos, Oyo, Rivers, among other states. The Nigeria Police Force had earlier urged the movement to cancel its planned nationwide protest, describing the timing as ill-conceived and mischievous on a day designated to commemorate the National Police Day. However, the protesters took to the streets against what they describe as bad governance and the shrinking space for free speech in the country. TV 360's Victoria Kode has more on this report.
Sporting their signature orange berets, the demonstrators began their rally in Lagos at the Ikeja Underbridge, carrying placards bearing inscriptions, and marched through major roads while chanting solidarity songs under the watchful eyes of police officers. Organizers of the protest said the demonstration was aimed at drawing attention to national issues, demanding accountability from leaders, and resisting the continuous clampdown on citizens' rights to express dissent.
We did June 12th as a warning protest. The government thinks we were joking. Then we did end bad governance in 2024. Now we are starting in 2025.
Okay.
What month are we? We are in April.
Okay.
If this is a warning action.
All right.
Should the government of Tinubu not immediately accede to our demands? Number one, repeal the Cybercrime Act of 2024. Yes. End the military rule in Rivers State. Yes. And stop the ongoing demolition in Shoki and other parts of the country.
Even as Nigerians could not feed, kings in local communities are still demolishing areas. A lot of Nigerians have been rendered homeless. People cannot feed, transportation is cost, house rent is cost. There is no provision from the government to cater for the people, yet their agents are still demolishing houses.
An elected government was suspended and Nigerians are keeping quiet. It's a matter of time. This presidency will wake up and tell you that the Senate arm is suspended, the House of Rep is suspended, and you will see the police and army responding to enforce social legality. We are telling Nigerians there's a matter of time. The presidency will become despotic and they will say they will not conduct election. I don't think will happen about it.
In the nation's capital, Abuja, policemen dispersed protesters who gathered at the Maitama area with tear gas. Human rights activist and former presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore was also present at the protest ground to show solidarity with the movement.
Yes, but because they no longer serve the people, that is why you keep hearing about, oh, we have a program, don't come out. Yes. Our program cannot be stopped by police program. Yes. So let them go and make the calls, let them radio to the illegal IGP. Yes. We want to move and nobody can stop us. Yes. And we have told them also that the IGP of police that is leading the program today at Eagle Square is an illegal IGP of police. Yes. He must leave after 60 years of age and 35 years of being in power. Yes. That is the essence of our march today. Yes. Nobody can stop an idea whose time has come. Nobody can stop an idea whose time has come. As we are having this march today, it's happening in Lagos as well. Yes. It's happening in Port Harcourt. Yes. And these ones are rehearsals. Yes. The time will come where all Nigerians will come out and nobody can stop them. Yes. So we have advised our police friends or frenemies that they should go and tell their Oga that we are going to the National Assembly.
The protest on Monday comes 9 months after the #End Bad Governance protests, which were held in August 2024 to protest the high costs of living in the country. Victoria Akonde, TV TV360 News, Lagos.
In Port Harcourt, the River State capital, police fired tear gas at protesters at the Isaac Borough Park. The protesters say they had earlier informed the police command of their intention to stage the demonstration in a letter dated April 3, 2025. Key among their concerns is the alleged misuse of the Cybercrime Act, the worsening economic hardship in the country, and the state of emergency imposed by President Bola Tinubu on the state. Following the ruling by the Supreme Court nullifying the judgment of the Court of Appeal in Abuja that recognized Julius Abure as the national chairman of the Labour Party, the factional national chairman and Peter Obi, the party's 2023 presidential candidate, have called for separate National Executive Committee meetings. The party's National Publicity Secretary, Obiora Ifo, had announced Abure's meeting in a statement on Monday before it took place at the national headquarters of the party in Abuja. In contrast, Obi, alongside Alex Otti, governor of Abia State, called for a stakeholders summit at a different venue scheduled to hold on Wednesday, April 9. Obi and Otti had also issued the invitation for a stakeholders engagement in a statement issued on Monday. According to the national secretary of that faction, the vice presidential candidate in the 2023 election, serving and former senators and Labour Party candidates from the 2023 election would attend Wednesday's meeting. Away from politics, the Nigerian government says it will continue to engage with stakeholders and contractors on the ongoing construction of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road on the best economic route to save more properties from being affected, especially as Section 2 of the road infrastructure commences. Speaking at a stakeholders meeting in Lagos, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, said the infrastructure is being constructed to ensure future development as well as investment. The minister said clearing and dredging had commenced on Section 2 of the road infrastructure according to extant laws and best practices.
When we diverted to save a lot of properties, as Mr. President directed, we encountered what we did not see during the design. And that was a stretch of over 5 kilometers where refuse were dumped, and they were dumped to a depth of over 10 meters. So that's going to introduce variation to the project. We have seen the filling of the road pavement. The road pavement, filled to unexpected, flood level. We have to build for about 50 years expected flood level. So we made sure that our level now is going to counter any climate change. And that has introduced our pavement level to be at the first floor of many buildings. And so to retain the road, we are going to be building retaining wall. It's already started. So we're doing that. And we also have, what nobody has ever said, the ducting, the cable ducts. So you don't have to cut the road, MTN, African Plus, or any other network. You don't cut the road. So the cables are there, and I saw it. What we have not known is that we are going to have CCTV on the road. So, and the response time for any issue will be less than 5 minutes. What we have not known is that this is an evacuation corridor. I've said it severally. We're going to be earning carbon credit by the reason of concrete, road pavement, because it has low emission compared to asphalt.
The much anticipated Lagos Lagoon Chronicles art exhibition has officially commenced over the weekend at the National Museum to address climate change and environmental issues affecting communities along the Lagos Lagoon. Spearheaded by Help Africa Initiatives and with support from the Danish Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the exhibition, which is part of the Lagos Lagoon Climate Response Project, focuses on the challenge posed by the water hyacinth, an invasive weed that has clogged the Lagos Lagoon, disrupting local ecosystems and impacting the livelihoods of residents. TV360's Ogechukwu Ukekwe has more in this next report.
The Lagos Lagoon Chronicles art exhibition featured various artworks by 13 visual artists who embarked on an immersive journey through Ekpe, capturing both the beauty of the region as well as the significant economic opportunities of the water hyacinth for communities through sustainable innovations. The diverse range of works include painting, sculptures, mixed media installation, digital art, and intricately designed interior pieces crafted from water hyacinth by local community members. The project director describes how the initiative aims to turn waste into wealth, enhance water management and sanitation, create jobs, and improve public health and education while serving as a model for future sustainability efforts.
It's about working together with people. It's about looking at problems together and solving them together, holistically, taking a holistic approach, which is what we have done with the people in Ejiri, Saga, and Oriba in Ekpe, on how to look into the problem of water hyacinth menace, on how to get good education and books for the children, and on how to improve the health of the citizenry. So we provided healthcare, free healthcare, books for the children, and also training on how to turn this menace into a blessing.
Artists who showcased their work at the Lagos Lagoon Chronicles shared their inspiration and creative processes, reflecting themes of resilience, hidden potential, and the revival of forgotten places through art. The artists also effectively highlight the real dangers and challenges posed by nature, particularly the impact of climate on daily living.
When they look at the work, they feel, oh, this earth is sinking into it, that thing is taking up, is suffocating it, whereas there is something particular about what surrounds the face, and is the fact that it is springing forth and bringing the natural, like a type of nature springing forth out of it.
We are trying to make them, use what they have in their environment to turn it to something, something as a means of income, like the water hyacinth. Now when it's dried, you can use it to weave bags, weave art, you can use it to weave a wooden stool, understand? So we are trying to tell you that inside inside something trashable, you can turn it to something like a treasure.
Underneath the picture, hiding under the water hyacinth are houses, children, people living their life and being happy. So it shows that despite all these challenges, despite all the limitations of life, you can still be happy. You can convert that so-called obstacle to advantage.
Other art enthusiasts say the project bridges tradition and modernity, empowering Ekpe residents to lead their own development while preserving their cultural heritage.
We have engaged the community to see that water hyacinth can actually be transformed into products that have economic value. So it's transforming this environmental menace into something of benefit, creating livelihoods.
Everything we do has to tick the box somehow in terms of climate impact, in terms of diversity and inclusion, and also, of course, the commercial viable models. Because if you don't do commercial viable models, you cannot make it a sustainable model in terms of actually creating long-term impact.
A key highlight of the exhibition was the captivating performances by children from Ejiri and Badagry, as well as the renowned Crown Troops of Africa and other talented performance artists. Guests were also treated to a variety of live music and spoken words presentation by local talents, enhancing the exhibition's rich multisensory experience with added depth and vibrancy. Ogechukwu Ukekwe, TV360, Lagos.
Let's go back to the story of the Labour Party organizing separate National Executive Committee meetings. I'm now being joined by legal practitioner Evans Ufeli. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Ufeli. Now, following the Supreme Court's ruling, both factions of the Labour Party have claimed victory, while one faction says Julius Abure has been removed as the national chairman of the party. Another, the National Working Committee, says Abure remains the chairman of the party. Now, both factions have organized separate NEC meetings. I mean, is there a way out of this crisis in the Labour Party?
The Abure's faction, they are contravening the law because God clear enough on the issue on that reference. The Supreme Court have said that the tenure of Abure, as long as the Court of Appeal does not have jurisdiction to even pronounce him as the substantive chairman of the Labour Party. So, given that analogy, his tenureship has expired. And the Supreme Court also went ahead to say that Nadi Usman's appeal succeeds based on the ruling. So, whatever it is that has been put up by Julius Abure and his cohorts amounts to contempt of court. Because the Supreme Court is very clear on the judgment on the referendum. I don't know why people are giving it different interpretation again, other than what's judgment. People are saying they don't understand the judgment. It's in English, it's clear enough. There's no ambiguity in the expression of the Supreme Court in my estimation. I've seen the judgment, I've read the CPC of the judgment, and in my estimation, when they say your appeal have succeeded, okay, what it means is that, the appellant who went to court has gotten victory. Abure is the respondent. If your appeal succeeds, it means the respondent, have failed in the action. Okay, that means the appellant, got judgment in her favor, which would then mean that Abure, the thing is quite very clear. So I don't know what interpretation Abure's fashion is giving to this judgment. I don't know why they are having separate neck meetings and the rest of that. They just want to kill Labour Party. That's where they are heading to. At the end of the day, before they finish all this dispute, they will not have time to prepare that party for the next election. And they will go into oblivion. Mm-hmm. Because what they are doing now amounts to contempt. There's no reason for that. Abure should go and rest and allow the party to go.
All right. Now, speaking of the next election, which you mentioned, how detrimental is this crisis to the obedient movement, which is the support base of the Labour Party?
Well, they are wholesomely, from what I've seen from the obedient movement, their allegiance is to Peter Obi. So if Peter Obi jumps ship, moves to another political party, they most likely will go to that political party. After all, the Labour Party was not really doing well before Peter Obi went to that political party and drew support to the party. The party is supposed to take advantage of that providence and they use it as much as possible. Today, we are talking, they have a governor, they have State House of Assembly members, and they have National Assembly members. Why can't they come together and grow what they have already? Why disintegrate it? Why stretch it? I mean, a political party that have a governor is not a small political party. Not many political parties have governors. Not many. Okay, not many have governors. So if you have a governor as a political party, and you have National Assembly members, you have State House or Assembly members across the states in the country, you are not a small player. Maybe they are not looking at it very well. You are not a small player. I mean, does SDP have as much as Labour? No. And SDP have been there far long ago. So the party, the leadership of the party has brought this upon itself, not being grateful enough to manage what it got, to grow it. That party actually needs a leader that can manage what the party got and grow it. When you have that, then it will. But in the case under reference, where they are just, working at cross purpose, the leadership of the party, the National Working Committee, and even the candidates of the party that are contested at the party are all working on cross purpose. And in doing that, there's no way they can come to any meaningful or worthwhile experience that will give them power proper at the center.
Legal practitioner, thank you very much for sharing your insights. We appreciate your time. We'll take a short break here. Still to come on the news. Sahel Alliance recalls ambassadors from Algeria over Malian drone downing. Stay with us for details. Welcome back. This is a recap of our top stories. Young demonstrators under the aegis of the Take It Back movement and other civil society organizations on Monday defied police warning and staged protests in Abuja, Lagos, Oyo, Rivers, among other states. The Nigeria Police Force had earlier urged the movement to cancel its planned nationwide protest, describing the timing as ill-conceived and mischievous on a day designated to commemorate the National Police Day. However, the protesters took to the streets against what they describe as bad governance and the shrinking space for free speech in the country. We also told you that following the ruling by the Supreme Court nullifying the judgment of the Court of Appeal in Abuja that recognized Julius Abure as the national chairman of the Labour Party, the factional national chairman, and Peter Obi, the party's 2023 presidential candidate, have called for separate National Executive Committee meetings. In case you missed any of our news bulletins, for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery and Apple Store. On Facebook or at TV360 Online. It's time for business news with Victoria Akonde. Over to you, Victoria.
Thank you very much, Timi. Welcome to Business News. Now, the Nigeria Customs Service (NCS) has issued the first pre-arrival assessment report under the Unified Customs Management System (BODOGO). In a statement issued on behalf of the Controller General in Abuja, spokesman of the service, Abdullahi Maiwada, declared that the development marked a significant milestone in customs' commitment to technology-driven trade reforms. According to him, this achievement follows the recent strategic engagement between the Controller General of Customs Bashir Adewale Adeniyi and the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria Olayemi Cardoso. He said both institutions reaffirmed their commitment to seamless trade processes, enhanced revenue collection and improved financial integration. Right now, we'll go on a short break and be back with stock market updates. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's the first trading day of the week and the Nigerian equities market closed in negative territory, declining by 1.23%. The market capitalization now stands at 65.4 trillion naira. Now, overall, 125 NGX listed equities participated in today's trading session with only 9 gainers and 51 losers. Leading the losers chart was Wohando, which recorded a 10% drop in its share price, closing at 37 naira 80 kobo per share, and was followed closely by Cornerstone Insurance Company. At the close of trading day on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, over 444 million shares were exchanged in 15,619 deals, corresponding to a market value exceeding 11 billion naira. And when this is compared to the previous trading day, which is Friday, the 4th of April, today's data reflects a 28% increase in volume, a 37% rise in turnover, and a 37% boost in the number of deals. Now switching to the global scene, stocks continue to plunge at the opening of trading on Wall Street on Monday as U.S. President Donald Trump maintained his firm stance on sweeping tariff plans. As a result, all our selected indices, the UK's FTSE, the US Dow Jones and Japan's Nikkei, remained in bearish territory. Now in the foreign exchange market, the Naira traded at 1,565 Naira to the dollar on the black market, and at 2,015 Naira to the British pounds, and at 1,670 Naira to the euro, still on the black market. That wraps up both business and stock market updates. Back to you, Simi, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Victoria. And in other countries, the military alliance between Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger Republic have withdrawn their respective ambassadors from Algeria in response to the downing of a Malian drone this week. The Alliance of Sahel States, which goes by its French acronym AES, blamed Algeria on social media for the drone's downing and condemned it as an irresponsible act. that violated international laws. Mali's Prime Minister, General Abdoulaye Maiga, denied claims by the Algerian government that the drone had violated Algeria's airspace by over 2 kilometers. And America's Boeing company has settled 2 lawsuits regarding the deadly Ethiopian Airlines crash from 2019 on the eve of a scheduled civil trial. The settlement was made just hours before jury selection was set to be underway. On March 10, 2019, a Boeing 737 MAX jet departed from Bole International Airport in Ethiopia headed to Kenya. The flight crashed 6 minutes after takeoff, killing all 157 people on board. Relatives of 155 of the victims had sued Boeing between April 2019 and March 2021 for wrongful death, negligence, and other charges. And on sports, the Nigerian Olympics Committee has announced it has met the March 28, 2025 deadline for expression of interest to bid for the 2030 Commonwealth Games. Nigeria had earlier lost a bid to host the 2014 Commonwealth Games to Glasgow. A statement released by NOC spokesman Tony Neziaye said that Nigeria's bid for the 2030 Games in the capital city Abuja will present a unique opportunity to showcase its development, enhance its global standing, and invigorate its sports culture. And South African teams, the Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates, and Egyptian clubs Al Ahly and Pyramids FC will be looking to secure semi-final berths in the CAF Champions League this midweek. The second leg quarter-final fixtures will be played across the continent on Tuesday and Wednesday, and the Buccaneers and the Brazilians both take slender leads into their respective ties. The 4 aggregate winners will advance to the semi-finals, which will be played on 18 to 19 and 25 and 26 of April 2025. And that's it on News Now. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next time.